Why do we come here, eyes wide, hands clean, and then scrape our knees on concrete rules and call that learning? Why there's a good place, need locks and metal doors, need white coats, numbered beds, and war out on the borders. Why would a good world need prisons? If we're born from a love so pure, would a healer build hospitals where the cure hurts more than the cure? Why is the garden full of gravestones? Why is the cradle so close to the fire? If this is heaven with the lights turned down, why does every prayer sound like why? They say it's all lessons. Suffering makes us kind, but some break in the first storm and never get to understand in time. If there's a hand above this, watching children drown in rain, is that mercy? Is that madness? Or are we praising someone else's pain? Why would a good world need prisons? The bars on the wings of the young. Why does a loving God stay silent when the worst words slip off grown tongues? Why is the sky so quiet when we scream till our voices die? If this is training for some bright realm, why does every breath still act? Why?
Maybe we're sparks in a dark room. Maybe we're lost in a long lie. Maybe the truth is too heavy for here, so it hides in the space between. Why would a good world need prisons? Why must a soul pay in scars? If there is grace somewhere past this, why does it feel so far? Why does the question keep burning long after answers pass by? If faith is a flame in a cold wind, maybe the holiest word is why. Maybe the holiest word is why.
Maybe the holiest word is why. Why is asking why so powerful? Why is asking why such a powerful question? Why is it so powerful? Why are we so often in this realm told not to ask why, discouraged from asking why, discouraged from questioning reality, from questioning religions, teachers, so-called authorities, there are none really, governments, another false authority, it's false, questioning so-called gods, that's false as well, false authority, questioning anyone or anything. You were trained in this realm to be a slave. Just shut up, don't ask why, repeat after the teacher, memorize it, regurgitate it, memorize your speech, and tell it to the classroom. Memorize the answers. Memorize 2 plus 2 equals 4. Memorize 5 times 5 equals 25. Memorize that shit. That's what they call teaching in this realm. Maybe the holiest question is why. Why? 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 Why are you here? Why is it designed this way? Why is there suffering? Why is there pain, suffering, illness? Why is torture possible? Why is it possible to get sick? Why is it possible to lose a child? Why is it designed this way? Why is it possible for hospitals, entire floors, to be filled with children who are suffering and dying of cancer, including leukemia and bone cancer and brain cancer? Why is that even possible? Why do we need hospitals? What kind of realm is this? Why do we need hospitals if it's a good realm? Why do we need prisons if it's a good realm? These are questions I ask. Why? Why? Sky! Sky! I'm sorry. That's that South African creature, Reaper, that I like to laugh at. I laugh at demons. I mock demons. I laugh at them. Why? 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 Because I'd like to be the freest spirit that's ever walked this earth, that's ever lived here. That's why. That's why. Because nothing can get me down. Now, do I feel pain? Yes. Do I have the full spectrum of emotions? Yes. Do I hate evil? Yes. Do I stand against evil? Yes. Do I feel sad for innocent ones, especially children and little animals suffering? Yes. But I still tease demons and laugh at demons because I won't let this place destroy me. And that's what it wants to do. Not just with me, but with every good spirit here. This place is designed to degrade and destroy. It's designed to drain us, degrade us, eat us. Not just the physical earth, monster earth. It wants to eat us, and it eats every body in this place. It eats everything. Everything. But why does it exist? Why does this evil exist? Why is this place designed to be so cruel, sadistic, evil? To get pleasure from watching our pain, to get entertainment? Why? Why? If it's such a good place, people say they love the earth and they love nature and they love this and they love God and they love Jesus. They love God. God is so awesome and good and God is so glorious and praise God. Really? Well, what is this so-called God of this realm? Why does it allow such sickness? Why did it create sickness? Why did it create evil, suffering, pain? Tens of thousands of diseases for humans, at least 10,000 plus, documented and named already. Why? Why? Why are there acts of God and so-called natural disasters, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, firestorms, volcanic eruptions, great floods, on and on and on? Why? Thunderstorms, lightning killing people, babies struck by lightning, babies drowning in floodwaters, babies dying in tornadoes and hurricanes that destroy. Why? Why? I ask why. I'm strong enough and brave enough to say why. Why? Why do people tolerate this and call it normal? They call it normal and natural. And they think you're crazy if you dare to ask why and question reality and the design of what you call reality and what humans call life and living. I don't call this living. I don't call this place good. I don't call it what humans do. And they'll say, he's negative, he's dark, he's promoting a hell realm. They even say, I'm promoting it. Promoting it. I'm exposing it. I'm revealing it. I'm showing you where you are. I'm not promoting anything. And I'm not paid to promote anything. They lie about me. They misrepresent me and my model. They muddy the waters. They corrupt my message. They do everything they can to stop you from watching my content and learning and asking for yourself questions like why, which is like what I want you to do. I want you to question reality. I want you to look around and go, why? Why is it this way? Why could I design a better realm? Why could you? I could name some on my channel that I know could do better than this. I know. I'm not them. I've never met them. I know Wendy could do better than this. Okay? I know Salty Siren could do better than this. I know Anna Faye could do better than this. I know Ren could do better than this. I know RI could do better than this. I know Nick could do better than this. I know Mind Mirage could do better than this. I could go on. I could name all of my mods. I could name every regular on my channel. They could do better than this. The list goes on. There's probably, at a minimum, 40, if not 50, maybe 100, maybe more, that have been on my channel that could do better than this realm. If they were some omnipotent being with magical powers that could create something, they would create much better than this. Not just better, but fantastically better, immeasurably better than this place, where this would look like a true shithole. This would look like a sewer, like an open sewer. And you look in and go, it's gross and it reeks. And that's what this place would look like. The difference in the contrast would be stark. It would be worlds apart. What they could create, again, people on my channel, and what this place is, or what I could create. Of course, I'm going to include myself because I know I could do much better than this place. I could imagine much better in 1 second of my imagination than what this place is. I could imagine better as a child, when I was a child. Family members that had children that I helped raise when I was younger could do better when they're imagining and drawing things and creating things. This is a hell realm. This is an absolutely fucked up, horrible design. This is an evil, demonic design. This place is full of demons. Why do demons exist? Why were they created? Why do they live amongst us and walk amongst us? Why are we surrounded by demons and zombies and evil, envious, violent creatures that are dishonest, that are always trying to set us up or lie about us or gaslight us or smear us? It's endless. Narcissists, gaslighters, evil psychos. Why does all of that exist in the realm we're in? Why was it made? Why was it put here? Why? Why do we have to eat life to survive? Why are so many in this realm broken and depressed? And they suffer with mental illness and disorders. Why? Why do I see animals getting eaten alive every day in this place? Why does this place look like, sound like, feel like, and is observably the way a hell realm? Why is it so easy to show that this is a hell realm? And then why do so many here call it good? There are reasons for it. These aren't just rhetorical questions of why. Why? When you start asking why and start thinking about where you are, it will add up. If you don't stop short and shake your head and say it makes no sense, because it does make sense. It does. The pieces do fit together. You might not like what it shows, the picture, when you put more pieces together and you have 50 pieces and 100 pieces. Then you have 200, 300, 400, 500, and 1,000 pieces of the puzzle fit together. You'll see the picture. It fits together, but you might not like what it shows you about where you are. But if you keep asking, why is it this way? Why is this? Why does this exist? Why does this place exist at all? Why should spirits be in bodies here at all doing this? What's the point of this? Why is this allowed? Why does this exist? Why should it exist? I would say it shouldn't. It shouldn't exist. It never should have existed. It's too evil to exist. It's wrong. Some of you aren't there yet. I know that. I can tell. Even if you're thousands of miles away from me, you have more work to do. That's not an insult. That's motivation. That's encouragement. Keep asking why. Even when you see things, you're out on a walk and you see a dead bird or some animal, maybe on the side of the road. You might live somewhere where there's possums or raccoons or squirrels, like here, chipmunks. Rabbits out in the wild, they get hit and killed. All sorts of things. Why? Why is that possible? If this were a good realm, why should that be happening at all? Why should we ever have to see animals dead on the road or on the side of the road? Ever. Have you ever seen a dead raccoon or a dead possum? I've seen many in my lifetime where I've lived. I've even seen dead deer that were hit by cars. Dead cats, people's cats hit, run over, dead dogs. It's horrible. It's horrific. It's traumatizing. Okay, this is traumatizing, whether you see it as a child, a teenager, like a young person, adolescent, teenager, or 20-something, and you're still young when you're 20 years old. Or you see it as an adult, fully grown, you might be 45. It is traumatizing. It's traumatic. It was traumatic to see dead loved ones, including my own mother. I was there when she died. I was the only one in the room. I was there when she passed away, when her body died. I held my beloved dog in my arms when she died. And that was completely devastating beyond words for me. I was there with her at night. Took her to an emergency vet. I've been at funerals for grandparents. One grandfather of mine passed away and was found the day before Christmas in the morning. They figure he died in the morning on the 24th December. Hemorrhaged to death, bled to death. Blood was coming out of his mouth. He had had lung surgery and it opened up, and he tried to call for help. He died alone, bleeding out, bleeding to death. Not instantly. And there was blood in the bathroom. He went to the bathroom at first, was throwing up blood, and there was blood on the floor in his living room. And his neighbors saw him dead on the floor. And then we found out that day. Again, right before Christmas. I was a child. I was still a child. I wasn't in high school. My mom was devastated and sad. And my aunts. And Christmas was more like a funeral that year. Because again, it just happened. So we had maybe 30-something hours or so, 30, 40 hours before Christmas. So it's like you don't feel like celebrating when you found out your grandfather died and bled to death. And I wasn't even close with them. Some of my cousins were. But the grief of others affected me, especially my mom, because that was her father. That's what we go through in this realm. And few people say, why? Why does death exist? Why are we here just to suffer and die one day? and watch our loved ones suffer and die and get sick, and sometimes go through cancer and heart attacks, losing uncles. Hearing my uncle passed away, had a massive heart attack. He was my favorite uncle, dead, 40-something years old, in his early 40s, dead. Why? Why do some of the best people I've known, why have they died in horrible ways, quite often, tragic ways, including ones that died as a child, as children? One was hit by a car. I've told his story many times over the past few years. Devastated his whole family. His father became a complete alcoholic. His brother, younger brother, was without his older brother for the rest of his life. They had 2 sons. One was gone. The family was broken. That's how quickly shit can happen in Hell Realm. Why? Why is it designed this way, to crush us? You should start thinking about it. If it were a good realm, why would there be prisons and hospitals? Healthcare. Why do you need medicine for anything? Why does Big Pharma even exist at all? Why should it? Why? Why do you come here with no memories? The list of why goes on and on and on. And on and on and on. I hope this gets you thinking more about who you are, where you are, asking bigger questions, questioning reality, questioning this realm. Life, death, the afterlife, or what they call life and call death and call the afterlife. This is a sewer matrix. This is a place of deceptions, lies, psyops, mind control. It's a place of evil, demonic evil, zombies, deceivers. I hope this gives you some real gourmet food for thought. I hope it stirs you, provokes you to think. Ask why. Start questioning. Question things. Think about things. Question things. Why? Ask why.
Why are the sirens singing at midnight? If this is some sacred design, why are the children wired to drips while stained glass pretends we're fine? Why would heaven need handcuffs if love is the law of the land? Why are the angels in uniforms locking up shivering hands? Why would a good realm need prisons? Why would a bright world breed pain?
If there's a God in the rafters,
watching us drown in the rain. Why is the hospital hallway longer than any church aisle?
why is this place so cruel?
So cruel, and heaven stays quiet the whole while. Why does a mother bury her firstborn, still thanking the sky for the test? Why does a preacher call this a lesson while dirt gathers over her dress? Why does the sun rise on graveyards same way it rises on gold? Why does the story keep saying it's perfect while everything's broken and cold? stays quiet the whole while.
If this is the holy garden, why all the blood in the soil? Why are the kind hearts cracking for someone else's spoils? If this is the best of the options,
What does that say of the rest?
is hell just a word for the silence
After we've screamed our questions to death, why would a good world need prisons? Why would a bright world breed pain?
if there's a God in the rafters?
Watching us drown in the rain. Why is the hospital hallway longer than any church aisle?
Why is this place so cruel?
So cruel, and heaven stays quiet the whole